sometimes it truly feels like we're living in a simulation. It's as if the world is some kind of giant experiment and we're just test subjects stuck in it. And it seems like we're not the only ones who feel this way. In this video, we'll talk about how this actress from the UK truly feels about the world as a psychological thriller and why this genre is so popular amongst films and film enthusiasts. First up, UK actor Gugu Mbatha-Raw says we're all living a psychological thriller in the real world. While it may look like Gugu's gone a bit gaga with this statement, it's not exactly wrong. The Doctor Who actor recently opened up, telling the world what she truly feels about psychological thrillers, and we're not gonna lie, girly did drop some truth bombs here. Gugu says that she has a theory as to why psychological thrillers are so popular nowadays, and it might just have to do with the fact that we've probably been living in one for over the past few years. Yikes, scary, right? Over a Zoom call from England, the actress further explained that she feels like this mostly because of the pandemic. And we've got to come clean here too, because in these past 2 years, the days and nights have blurred to such an extent that it really feels like the whole world is no less than an episode of Black Mirror. Now, why does Gugu think psychological thrillers are getting more and more common on the silver screen? While Silence of the Lambs remains undisputed in this department, we can't deny that this genre has become insanely popular across the world. Every other movie and TV show on streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon is about some sick, twisted guy doing sick, twisted things, and Gugu thinks it's because people resonate with them. Well, we're pretty sure she doesn't mean that we're also gonna go missing before our wedding anniversary and frame our husband for murder like Amy in Gone Girl, but here's what she might be hinting at. So what Gugu tried to say was that with everything that has happened over the past few years, it's understandable for people to relate to the chaos in these thrillers because it's familiar to them. The world has turned on its head quite a bit during seasons 1 to 5 of lockdown, so we think it's okay if some people find some semblance of order in these stomach-churning mysteries. Well, not okay, but maybe a little digestible. Next, Gugu also dished that many actors are fascinated with psychology. Although it seems like it's an easy job, acting is undoubtedly one of the most challenging professions to exist. It's not easy to cry on cue, and it's certainly not easy to keep a straight face while delivering comic dialogues. So it's natural for actors to take an interest in psychology just so they could work their way around emotions and study their characters better. The 39-year-old added that because actors need to analyze the role that they're playing, they're often very critical of their performance. In fact, method acting is so common that most of the award-winning movies we know today have had actors who've probably stripped away their own identity and taken on the costume of their character. So did Mbatha-Raw also take on her new role with a similar perspective? It's no secret that Gugu Mbatha-Raw has a tremendous career in TV and film. From playing a CIA detective in The Undercovers to putting Loki behind bars, Gugu has some amazing acting credits to her name. So when Apple TV announced their new thriller miniseries starring this powerhouse, fans were very excited for her to take on the role of a woman who loses her memory and tries to piece it together over the course of the show. When asked if she did her own psychoanalysis of her new character, the actress said that she normally reads up on the roles she has to play and comes up with backstories for them. But this was the first time she's playing a character who was unaware of who she was, so the prospect sounded very exciting to her. And how did Gugu prepare for such a role? Instead of giving an elaborate background like she normally would have, the Summerland star built the character's narrative as the way the audience would see her. She said that it was an interesting process because that's not how she usually does things or how most characters on screen are like. Not only did she personally invest a lot to prepare, but the writer of the show also arranged for Gugu to meet up with a memory loss expert. But why did they do that? Was Gugu getting a little too much in her character? Well, they did it so that she could dive deeper into what it's like to wake up with amnesia and get an idea of how frequently such people have flashbacks. One thing's for sure, the high-profile socialite Sophie definitely demanded a different approach. And pretty soon, on July 29th, we'll see just how Gugu's thriller persona comes to life to blow us all away. Alas, it's not always a thriller night for the girl before. As most of you might know, Surface isn't Mbatha-Raw's first thriller rodeo, and while acting has worked out superbly well for her, jumping into psychological thrillers has also allowed her to step up as a producer. Not only is she the main lead in Surface, but she's also a producer on the show alongside her morning show co-star Reese Witherspoon. Witherspoon. Reese's production company is also no stranger to thrillers, having produced many hit TV shows like Big Little Lies, Little Fires Everywhere, and now the critically acclaimed movie adaptation of Where the Crawdads Sing. The world may be a reflection of poorly made psychological thrillers for now, but if things keep progressing like this, we might just turn into the Joker ourselves and prove Gugu's hypothesis right once and for all. And now, moving on to other news. First up, Harry Styles is to star as the perfect husband in the psycho thriller Don't Worry Darling. A discussion about thrillers and we leave out Harry? Not a chance. The Holmes Chapel lad has come a long way from that beach in What Makes You Beautiful, and now, after over a decade, he's all set to star in Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry Darling with Florence Pugh, who's also his MCU colleague. Talk about coincidences. The movie is about a couple, Alice and Jack, that live in a utopia of a community called Victory. All's well in the fictional town until their ideal life begins to slip from their hands, and their image of a perfect life cracks wide open. Florence's character then begins to question the motive behind Victory. Also based on that trailer, we're guessing things are about to get pretty steamy. Next up, Oliver Jackson Cohen teases his new show's premise. The Surface actor will team up with Gugu Mbatha-Raw as the two play the endearing husband and wife while coping with the tragedy of Sophie's memory loss. Now, while it does sound like Oliver's character is husband goals here, considering his past history of playing dodgy spouses, we're not so sure if he's husband of the year. And it looks like Oliver agrees too. The actor joked that it feels like he's the go-to guy for toxic guys on screen. But don't worry, Ollie, we're not typecasting you at all. When he was asked to drop a spoiler, Oliver cheekily replied that the motto of every woman ever should be to never ever trust her husband, and dare we say it, but he might just have a point there. It seems like troubled marriages are a running theme with these psychological thrillers, but we won't really know for sure until the show drops later this month. And finally, Gugu Mbatha-Raw makes her comeback on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. James is undoubtedly the most beloved person on television. His ability to make his guests laugh and feel at home on his show is one of the reasons why people love tuning in, even after a long day at work. And when you've got a bubbly personality like Gugu on the show, well, you're definitely in for a good time. Earlier this week, the Loki actress made her first in-person appearance on the show, and it was all smiles on set as she talked about her work on the Marvel production and her experience with Tom Hiddleston. Gugu dished that her MCU knowledge was a tad bit embarrassing, and even though Loki was the starting point of the multiverse's introduction, she wasn't really familiar with how it worked. But thank goodness, Tom Hiddleston is a big geek and loves playing the Master of Mischief. Gugu said that she was grateful for Hiddleston's PowerPoint presentation, which was no less than Loki's own personal Bible, and that it was cool because it was straight from the horse's mouth. Unfortunately for us, Gugu couldn't share more details about season 2 because, well, Marvel. But she's excited that fans are looking forward to the show and that playing Ravonna Renslayer has been an adventure of a lifetime. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about Gugu's theory? Is the world truly a reflection of a psychological thriller, or have we been watching too much of Netflix? Let us know down in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos like this. Until next time, see you in the next one.